everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of the Save the Crafty YouTuber video hop here at Perky Penny Paper Arts. This is a wonderful celebration of card making video tutorials created by a group of talented crafters of all different styles. We are coming together to give our viewers a chance to discover other amazing card makers and help reach monetization goals. All you have to do is watch, like the video, consider subscribing, and click the link in the video description below to hop to the next video. Let yourself be inspired. Don't forget to comment because we have tons of prizes to give away as well. Please indicate if you're located in the USA or international so the prizes can be awarded appropriately, as some prizes, not all, have restrictions on them. Today, I'm going to be showcasing the March 2020 My Monthly Hero Kit. Unfortunately, it's sold out, but these techniques can be used for other stamps and dies as well. For one lucky winner, I have the entire kit ready to send out as a giveaway as well. I'm going to start with a very quick and easy card today. First, I'd like to create a border on this card base to accent the stamped image I will be placing on the front of this card. To do this, I take the detail layer stamp of the tree from the kit and place it on an acrylic block. I use the blue ink that was included in the kit and stamp around the edge of the card base. This works very well, and I'm able to turn the stamp around and get about 3 stamps per inking, which is a great time saver. Now this is complete, I'll set it aside and stamp out the panel using my MISTI. I center the tree top on the panel and stamp it in the same color as the border. I then place the trunk and stamp it in Altenew Moon Rock Crisp Dye ink and finish my stamping with the thank you sentiment from the kit stamped in the blue as well. With my stamping complete, I trim 1/8 of an inch off each side, which brings it down to a 4 by 5 1/4 inch panel. I apply adhesive to the back and center and adhere it to the card base with the border. This is such a quick and simple design. I can imagine creating sets in a rainbow of colors for gifts throughout the year, can't you? Next up, we're going to make this fun little stand-up card I created. I start with a 4 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch piece of the green cardstock from the kit. I scored it at 5/8 of an inch, 1 1/4 inches, 2 3/4 inches, 4 1/4 inches, and 4 7/8 inches. And then folded each score line, starting with a valley fold, and then 3 mountain folds, and then the last fold is back to a valley fold. I apply liquid glue to one of the ends, which consists of the 2 sections with the valley folds, and then fold it around and attach it to the other end to create this cute little piece that kind of reminds me of one of those sandwich boards. The next step is to create some ground cover for the scene. I'm cheating a bit by using the green paper once again. It's another 4 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch section that I'm placing in my MISTI. Because the paper is already a light green, I can skip the first stamp of this layer set. I position the stamp, the second layer, at the bottom of the panel and stamp with a dark green ink that comes in the kit. I then flip the panel and stamp on the other end as well to create the back cover for my card. This isn't really necessary, but hey, why not? This detail stamp has some open areas for a pond stamp that is included in the kit. I, however, don't want to use a pond for this particular card. I took the detailed tree stamp and just held it in my hand, inked up the side that looks kind of like that empty space, and stamped a few times with the dark green ink. And look at that, it fills in the spaces perfectly. The kit also includes a die to cut out the grass panels, and I used that to cut out each of these sections. Once these pieces were cut, I realized there was a plain green line around the border and wasn't really a fan. To solve for this, I put the detailed tree stamp back on the block and, like the first card, used it to fill in around the edges. It worked like a charm. I chose one of the sentiments from the kit and stamped it on one of my grassy panels with some Altenew Obsidian Black pigment ink. I left the other panel blank so as to give a place to write a message for the recipient. I apply one panel to each side of my sandwich board, and now it's time to assemble the tree. I have cut 2 tree tops with the included die and pink paper from the kit, and 4 tree trunks from some scrap brown cardstock I had. Using liquid glue, I attached all 4 of the tree trunks together to create a sturdy, almost chipboard thickness of the trunk. This will ensure that the tree will stand up strong and straight and tall. Next, I took the tree detail stamp with the acrylic block and stamped it on one of the tree panels with the darker pink ink from the kit. I first attached the stamped panel to the tree trunk, making sure to keep some of the individual branches exposed for interest. Once it was attached, I applied liquid glue to the back and placed the plain tree panel over that. This is also a great place to add a message. Finally, I add the tree to the grass by applying liquid adhesive to the bottom half of the trunk and attaching it. I realize this might be hard to see on the video, but this tree and the card are solid. They're not going anywhere. It's really a strong card. As a finishing touch, I had 2 of these adorable lanterns from the kit. These are 2-layer stamping at their best. They line up easily and are oh so cute. I popped them up on some foam squares, and I really think they added a lot to my little scene. Isn't this a fun card? It's such an easy stand-up design and fits in a regular envelope with no problem whatsoever. This next card is inspired by beautiful Japanese art. The goal is to create a beautiful monochromatic background with a splash of color added. I start with a 4 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch card base, which I cover with a 4 1/8 inch by 5 3/8 inch black panel that I use my scalloped corner punch on and then center and adhere to the front of the card base. Next, I take a 4 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inch white panel and place it in my MISTI with the bottom layer of the graphs set. To create the monochromatic scene, I chose the warm gray suite of colors from Altenew. For the first layer, I chose the second lightest color, evening gray, and then for the second layer, I used moon rock. After stamping, I filled in the white spaces with the evening gray ink and a blending brush. The next step is to apply a 1 1/2 inch circle mask to create my moon. I use another blending brush and the lightest shade, Morning Frost, blended over the remainder of the panel to make a sky. I start off the page and use a circular motion to gently apply the ink. Subtle is the effect I'm going for here, and this takes a little time and patience, but it's well worth it in the end. I pop it in the MISTI, and using the darkest shade, Lava Rock, I stamp a sentiment. Now for my favorite part of ink blending, the big reveal as I remove the mask, and there it is, a pretty moon. It really doesn't get any easier than that. I trim 1/8 of an inch off each side of the panel. You may have noticed that I did this on the first card as well, and may be wondering why. Well, sometimes there are mistakes, and I might not have stamped exactly in the middle, or we may have some marks on the side, or any of a number of things. Since I already have these panels pre-cut to the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I just stamp out my image or blend my image or do whatever I'm going to do to the panel first, and then I trim it down to size. Rather than trimming it down to size, creating the panel and then having there be a mistake and I trimmed it for no reason. And this way also I can, if there is a problem and maybe I need to make it smaller, or I need to, how would I say it? To cut on a different, cut a different width, not the 1/8 of an inch. Maybe I'll do a 1/4 inch on one side or something like that to center the image if I didn't get it exactly in the center. Anyway, while I was babbling on, I was using the scallop punch to create the fun corners as I did on the black panel. I then apply adhesive to the back and adhere it to the center. Here I have the tree stamped out in the 2 pink inks from the kit, and the trunk from the lava rock from the Altenew Gray selections I chose. Die cut and ready to add to my card, except for one thing. Again, I'm not really good with the white lines around the edge. There are times I do like them, and times like these when I just want them to disappear. To accomplish this, I used the ink blending tools and used the lightest gray on the trunk so it wasn't such a stark contrast to the background, and then the lightest pink around the tree piece to just erase the line altogether. I used some skinny foam strips by Doris to adhere the tree trunk. These are 1/8 inch foam strips that come in a pack of 30, I believe. They really make popping up skinny things a breeze. For the treetop, I used some chunky foam squares from Thermoweb. Together, this created a dimension on the card that was the perfect finishing touch. I added a small amount of liquid glue behind the tree trunk tips to attach it to the treetop, and this card was complete. One of the add-on pieces available to purchase along with the kit this month was this beautiful blossom branch with 3 flowers you can die cut separately for quick and easy decorating. Today, I cut it out of a scrap of dark brown cardstock. Now, there are many ways I could create the background and the blooms, but today I'd like to demonstrate an easy cheat to make this card quickly and easily. My secret is this Lawn Fawn Watercolor Wonder paper pad, a must-have for me. I use these papers for backgrounds and grass and all kinds of other things I might want something watercolored for. I die cut 3 sets of the flowers out of the pink paper in the pack, and as you can see, I applied several of them ahead of time. This piece will be cut into 3 sections, so I wanted most of the flowers to be completely dry before cutting. I'll now use my jewelry pick to apply these last 3 flowers with my liquid glue. Next, liquid adhesive is applied to the back of the branch, and I attach it to a 4.5 inch by 2 3/4 inch piece of yellow watercolor Wishes paper. I think this kind of has a gold feel to it as well, so it fits with my inspiration piece. After waiting a little bit for the rest to dry, I took my paper trimmer and cut along the long side so I have 3 1.5 inch segments. When doing this, I'm sure to use a strong, quick motion to cut through all of the layers at the same time. I attached the 3 panels to a piece of 5 inch by 3 inch black cardstock. I am careful to leave an equal border around the edges and between each panel, and also that each of the pieces is straight and lined up as perfectly as I can. I chose a sentiment from the adorable Kittens in Kimonos stamp set that's also one of the add-ons this month. For ease of stamping the sentiment, I put my horizontal 5.5 inch by 4 1/4 inch card base into the MISTI and positioned the flower panel where I wanted it. I lined up my sentiment and stamped it in obsidian black ink. I then apply some liquid glue to the back of the panel and attach it to my card base. To add some sparkle to my flowers, I applied Nouveau Sherbet Shimmer Crystal Drops to the center of each of them. And with that, our 4th card of the day is complete. I think this may be my favorite. Which one is yours? Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed my addition to the Save the Crafty YouTuber video hop, and consider subscribing to my channel, and as always, don't forget to hit the bell for notifications of when I upload new videos or go live. Comment below to enter yourself into the giveaway for the March 2020 Hero Arts kit featured in this video. Good luck to all, and happy crafting!